So in this video, I'm going to give you a quick tour of my workspace and some of the tools I have to work with. It's just a standard kind of maybe two-car garage. Basically I have shelves on this side for all the garden, outdoor junk. And then on the opposite wall, that's kind of my work area. So I have shelves over there that I built that are pretty simple. They're not real heavy duty shelves, but enough to just hold the stuff that I work on. Just made out of plywood, and I think it's like 1x2 lumber for most of it, and then some 2x4s on the wall cleats and on the end. And this is our Mini. It's like a 2007 Mini. That's what my wife drives to work most days, and then we drive it on weekends. So this side of the garage is basically my work area, for my tool storage, I kind of have a cheap Stanley toolbox that I got a couple years ago on like an after Christmas sale or whatever. It was pretty cheap. Came with some Stanley tools, which are decent, but it came with the little box, and it came with the bottom, and it kind of fit neat on my shelves, so I can store a lot of my tools and stuff, keep them out of the way, because I don't have a lot of room. If I start leaving a lot of stuff out, it kind of gets cluttered. I have a small compressor. It's got a pretty high PSI rating for a little compressor. I've only used it for like inflating things and blowing off, keeping things clean, stuff like that. I do have some tools that I got for it, and I've tried to use, I think I tried to use the lug nut wrench, and it really taxes it trying to use it. I mean, you could use it to break stuff loose, but there's really not a lot of capacity in this thing. It's really more for blowing up tires, and I do have like a brad nailer that goes with it, and it works with that pretty well. And then for like tools, I have some like cheap angle grinders. I think this is like a Northern Tool one. And I have like a Task Force one. It might have been from like Home Depot or Lowe's or something. I have a bunch of different abrasive wheels and flat discs that I use. And I have one set up. This one has a grinding wheel on it. The other one I think has one of those rust, like one of these abrasive wheels that knocks paint and rust off pretty quick. Then I have a face shield that I use with it. So that's what I got. Oops, that's what I have under there. Oh, this guy comes in handy. I don't know if they make these anymore. It's a little Skill electric ratchet, and it really comes in handy for if you have a lot of nuts and bolts to take off with a socket. You basically can use it to break them loose, and after they're loose, just hit that thing, and it just really gets them off quick. That's a real good little tool. I have my creeper. Let's see, down here I have one of these multi-function tools. I use this to get the undercoating off. I've seen other videos of people using it for that. It works real well. I have like a reciprocating saw. I think this is a heat gun. I have an inexpensive body tool set, and you can see I haven't even unwrapped them all. So I've been using mostly the hammers out of here so far, knocking on the rust and finding the holes and stuff. But I'll use this, as I start doing more body work. Let's see. I have a micrometer and a dial gauge. I'm going to use that for some engine stuff, to check the end float on the engine. We got a slap file. Haven't really used that yet either. Got a tap. Got two different tap and die sets. Plan to use those to clean out threads and what have you as I'm going along. Of course, they have a workbench. I think I got this at Lowe's or Home Depot on a sale. It came with the little back pegboard with a light, so it works pretty good. Then I got some inexpensive cabinets, just some plain simple ones, and I think my wife polyurethaned them for me when I had them before I put them up. It's good storage. Have some lights up there that I can get out if I need a light. That black bag has lights in there. Oop, can't see it. There we go. I got a little stereo up there that I have hooked to a little MP3 player that I have hanging down here so I can play some music. Over here, some extension cords, self-darkening welding helmet. Again, I think that's like a Harbor Freight, one of their cheap ones. Works pretty good. A little light to use, fluorescent, that works pretty well. Fire extinguisher, a little piece of heavy, like a little girder or whatever. It's good for beating on stuff, and for straightening things out. So that works pretty good. Little scraps of metal that I use for just making sure the welder's working right and practicing. And this is like a kind of my little welding area that I set up. Basically got some welding cloth, and I made like a, let's see if you can see it here, made like a little framework out of just some real cheap lumber, some like 1/2 inch by 1 inch wood, and some little strapping, just enough of a framework to kind of hold the cloth on there. And then basically I made the top of this. I got a piece of steel. I think I got it at one of the big box stores, Lowe's or Home Depot. Then I basically welded a couple pieces of angle iron on the bottom, and then I welded some of these. I think these were actually weights out of some old curtains. I think is what they were. So I just kind of welded those on just to give us some air gap between the top of this, which is wood particle board, and this. So this is kind of like my little welding table. So when I'm doing little weldings, I'll have the top on there and just tighten up these clamps, and there we go. And the air gap keeps it from burning the wood too bad. So, and I have some steel there I just kind of store. I have like a patio block down there that if I have something bigger to weld, I can drag that out and kind of use that as my to weld on top of that. I got like a light here, a little fan. I also put in, I think these are mostly used in like kitchens and stuff, but it's like a fan where you basically pull on this. I don't know if it'll work. There it goes. You pull on that, and it basically will open up the flap, and then it'll extract some of the fumes and whatever you're doing in here. So that works out pretty good. And up there, you got like a one of those. I think they're made to like hold fenders. It's like a you fold it out and you can lay like fenders and stuff on it, or hoods or whatever to work on them. Just like a little steel sawhorse kind of thing, and a chair that I use sometimes. Got a retractable reel over here for my electrical. Got a little shop vac. Got an old fan up here that blows right across where I work, so that when it gets hot, it makes it a little nice and cool. Then I have my welder over here in the corner. It's a Hobart Handler 140. It's like a 110 welder, or 120 volt welder. And I got all the tools and clamps and all that on the little cart. And I have it set up for gas. I think it's that, I don't know, the CR25 or something like that. I can't remember. It's set up for doing steel MIG welding. And it works pretty good. I mean, I just have to practice before I, use it most times, just to get back into the swing of things. But it works really well, and it's easy to set up. At least it has been for me, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of room. Then I have like a little seat here. I think it's one of those. I think we got an IKEA. It's like one of those. I don't know what they have weird names for stuff, so I don't know what it's called, but I'm sure they still sell them. They always seem to have the same stuff. And it works well. It folds up. You can get it out of the way. And there's the. I don't know if you can read that, but there's a little label on there. So that's the one I got at IKEA. Then I have like some storage here for like some of the paint, and spray paints and all kinds of stuff. And some of the house paints at the bottom, but just a bunch of storage in there. We got unfortunately the water heaters in here, and also the furnace, which kind of eats up some of my, could have had that for storage or shelving, but what are you going to do? And I have another storage, but that's not really anything to do with the car. It's just general storage. Then I have a aluminum trolley jack. I think I got this at, Costco. Maybe it was one big box stores. They had a pretty good deal on it. It's aluminum, so it's lighter than some of the steel ones. It has a pretty high lift. It's kind of got a lower profile, so it gets under pretty well. It works pretty well. I haven't any problems with it. Then I have an engine hoist that I got off Craigslist. I'm going to use that to actually lift the body off. That's the idea. Is when we get to the point where I get all the fenders off, then I'm going to pull in the hood and the trunk. Then I'm going to pull the body off and work on the frame. So that's kind of a quick tour of the garage, and hopefully you like it. Thanks. Bye.